Run your day with Runday.ai.
Well, Kevin, hello. Happy Tuesday. How are you today, my friend?
Good. Thank you, Sanjay. How are you?
I'm good. I'm just calling from Runday headquarters where we have a brand ambassador here in Fort Lauderdale. And how about yourself? Where are you calling from?
Calling from Las Vegas, Nevada.
Well, last time I was out there, I helped launch a lingerie store. So exciting memories.
Fantastic.
I also got COVID that way. So probably a good COVID story.
No, great. Sorry to hear that.
But well, tell me more about the business at AIS and what you're doing for your customers.
So AIS is a traditional office equipment dealer. Started almost 25 years ago, and building out a following of customers for copiers and printers. We've now moved that business into other products and services, and that's IT services, digital phone systems, and now we're moving into AI and app development. And that's part of my journey. So it all started with me. I started marketing technology companies 35 years ago, and I started without a cell phone. I started without the internet. And so when I'm looking back at where I have come and then listening to what everyone said about 4 or 5 years ago about AI being
Hmm.
bigger than the internet, I jumped all in. And when I said I jumped all in, I really immersed myself. I really knew that if all the experts are saying it's bigger than the internet, I needed to make sure that I learned as much as I did. Now, I'm an old guy. I'm 64 years old. I would probably be normally be on you know, on my way out of this
We used to
organization.
retire at that age, right? Like I remember,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
as an engineer, you enter your mid 30s and you're done for, and then
Right.
at 65, everyone is retiring, but there's no young people anymore, so we got to keep it going.
Well, I follow a number of what I'll call mentors or experts in the AI industry. And I had a discussion with one of them, Jonathan Mast, and I said, "Hey, Jonathan, why is it that I'm getting more out of AI today than, you know, a lot of other people are, or even the younger people crowd that are coming into the AI environment?" And he said, "You know why? It's because people that have age and have experience are allowing to apply that business experience into the development of the tools of AI, and that they're getting a lot more out of that because they have this sustained level of experience in business." And so, whether it's marketing or whether it's sales or whether it's finance or HR, any even executives are getting it because they have so much experience, they can get so much more out of it. And I find that everything I build now today, and that have gone through my journey, I started with the foundation of learning how to prompt, and that was really launched everything else that I've done. And excuse me, and when I say learning how to prompt, everybody says they're good at prompting, okay? And the reason for that, and I say the LLMs probably are one of the problems with that, and that is you
Well,
put
they
something
tell you
in.
you're great at everything, right? Some
Well,
of
yeah,
them,
that's true. But
I
then
I
when you
use
put
Grok because
something in,
it's like I use Grok
yep,
because it's more tough love. It tells me when I'm being an idiot, but I think ChatGPT, the main one people use, like it's sort of whatever you're wanting to do. Whether it's, I think there was a lawsuit recently about people were adding glue to mozzarella cheese to keep it on the pizza. It just tells you, it kind of just convinces you you're brilliant and you should be doing whatever you're doing.
true. But the other inherent thing that we don't, or a couple of things that we don't realize is number one, is that you put something in, you get something out. And now I've spoken to a lot of people at conferences and speaking engagements where I'll have everybody raise their hand on how good that they think they are at prompting. And I'll get maybe a third of the audience will raise their hand. I'll say, "How many of you written a 3 or 4 page prompt?" Now, they all drop their hands. And the reason for that, and the reason I
Yeah.
say that is because you have to put in enough context in to get something really great out of it. And when I say the LLMs are part of the problem is since they give you something back, you might think that's brilliant, but you really don't know how brilliant it could be until you really put in all the context needed or what success looks like, or tell it to be an expert and really define what that expert role is. Or at the end of it, ask me any clarifying questions to ensure you complete this task with 100% accuracy. And if you don't do the first three things, it'll start asking you those questions before it does any work. But those are sort of the types of things. The other thing is we've been so used to working with Google, putting in questions and getting an answer out
Mhm.
of it. We don't use AI, and we should be using AI to perform actions. And that's a big transference or a big transformation, sorry, a transformation in order for us to using the LLMs and using AI properly.
Yeah, it's a fraction of 1% of people that are doing it, and I have a little bit different take on it just from running because we do prompt and context engineering for hundreds of different clients, and so to me, it's not even a question of whether it's brilliant. To me, that's the wrong question. The question is it competitive? Because if everyone is doing something brilliant, it's not very effective anymore, right? So to do something competitive, we with Runday, we have an AI platform and we use a spreadsheet as a programming model. And what's interesting about that is we can put a lot of context in there. I can put, dozens of links to different articles. I can put FAQs. I can put, you know, histories of sales transcripts, all kinds of documents. And so that's all necessary to be competitive. You might be able to get away with being brilliant with a great prompt. But to me, even prompt engineering stops working when enough other people are doing it. It's really like, the context engineering that's taking your authentic voice, your history of transcripts from podcasts and sales calls, whatever it is, to really get at that nuance that makes you competitive at winning a deal against your competitor.
Yes, I agree with you 100%. I feel marketing was given a gift, and we were the first ones to probably really take an active role in using AI. And the reason for that is because it could build when it first came out. When ChatGPT first came out, we could write content, not just emails, but real content. We could do strategy. We can, ask it to do certain things for us and really explore what it could do for us. And I think marketers were really lucky to be able to use a tool like this. Today, I use it in everything that I do. And I think MIT came out with a report last year and said, you know, that 95% of the enterprise generative AI projects have failed. And I think a really big reason for that is that we are not asking it these questions before we start a project. And before I start any project that I'm building with AI, is it going to increase revenue, or is it going to increase profitability, or is it going to be able to provide more insights into our business? And the last thing is it's going to be scalable. And so that's what I've done is taken anything that I'm working on and anything that I'm building in agentic AI, that
Put that
this is where I
criteria on
want
it.
to take it, because now I have success already built into this novel approach of how I'm going to create any type of workflow automation or any type of product or service from AI.
Talk more about a couple of things you're doing successfully today for your customers.
Okay, sure. So about a year ago, or maybe longer, maybe 2 years ago, I built my first workflow automation in make.com. And what it was a LinkedIn automation. What the problem was that the business problem I was trying to solve is, number one, all of our prospects are out there on LinkedIn. Okay. Number two, a company does not have access or the rights for the individual staff members to use their accounts or to control them or tell them how to use their accounts. But if you teach and educate your staff on how to elevate their own brand using LinkedIn, and you give them the content so that it's very easy for them to do that, then you actually can lift your corporate brand by letting them all create their own and increase their personal brand. So what I built, so this is our company, but if you put in linkline.ais-now.com is a product that I created. And what it is we have a content manager that creates about 8 to 10 articles a week. Okay. And those pieces of content are about what we do is answering customers' questions about what our products and services do. Now, what I do is everybody has their own style, right? They all write their own style, and LinkedIn wants everybody to post in their own style. But it takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of know-how and experience on how to write good articles on LinkedIn. So what we did was we now can onboard a company or onboard a person and learn and build a style for them. And then what it does is it'll take our content and write in their own style, or you take your business's content, write in their own style, 3 different ways to post and drop it in an email to you. And then it can then, on top of that, it'll then give you 3 different types of disruptive titles for it.
Mm.
And now you've got something that only takes you 2 minutes, which before it probably took you 40, 45 minutes in order to find an article, think about what you're going to write in order for your network to be engaged with it. And then you still didn't have the hooks, or you didn't have the engagement strategy written into it. So what I did was I built the product first for us, and now I'm getting ready to release it to anyone that wants to use it.
Beautiful. Well, if someone in the audience wants to really elevate their brand this way, what's the best way to do that? Should they just go to request a demo or reach out to you on
Yeah.
LinkedIn?
Request a demo right now. In fact, I'll be glad to give anyone a demo for it, right? But you can actually, if you want to be a reseller of the product, you can do that too, because I put enough margin in there. So not only companies that can use it, but if you have, I showed it to a bunch of agencies the other day, and they just went, wow, this is pretty cool. We'd love to resell it. Yeah, you can resell it, because it's not just a product that we want to use. I want it to be able to be used by others. And if you're worried about the ban policy at LinkedIn, there's information on the site of why this does not um, overthrow anything that LinkedIn has set up when it comes to how to properly write content, because you're still in control of your account and you can edit anything that you see that's provided to you. But again, it writes in your own voice. I mean, when I started this process, I watched one of our executives take 40 minutes to do a post on LinkedIn. Now they can do it in 2 minutes, and it's in their own voice, and it's engaging. When I started using the product, I probably had maybe 400 or 500 followers, and a year later, I got 5,000.
Well, this might be something I use myself. Well, thank you
Of
so much
course.
for joining us today.
Yeah. And so that's just one thing. So I'm building for us first, and we have 2,600 business customers. So I want to release it to our business customers, but really this is a product that anyone could actually leverage and use. And then I'm also building an agentic AI organization within our company, because this is the future of where AI is going. So what I'm doing is I built a 180 node agentic AI workflow automation that does everything our content manager does. And she can do the research, the content calendar, do the keyword research, the content calendar, and then write articles. And she could probably max out at about 3 a week doing that. This can do 10 SEO articles, 10 AEO articles, the images for those, and the schema code for all of that. And it can do it in an hour.
Beautiful.
And that's the power of AI. And it writes it in human form. So it doesn't write it in just an AI form. And then it also does the checks and balances. It has all of the external links and internal links in each of the articles. But now I built a complete workflow automation, drops them all into nice folders so they're ready to post on our website. And we've been using it. We've been using it for the last several months now.
Wonderful. Well, I will definitely be checking this out for my own content. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes, sure.
Stay ahead of the curve, hit that bell for notifications, and join us next time.